All right, it's shoulder training 101, so get your textbook out. Unless you have alcoholic parents like I had. I literally came home with a list of books and my mom looked at me with a Jack and Coke in her hand and said, "We're not helping you pay for those because look at you. Your only shot at getting good grades is sleeping with all your teachers. So, for your sake, I hope you got all females." You bet your ass I did. Let me quickly apologize for the fact that my voice sounds like this. Awful. It's because I got the thing that we do not speak of, the Voldemorts, for a second time, but I hopped right on the JRE protocol and I'm almost there. So what that means for the video, it's going to be very short, succinct, and if you can't figure out how to grow your shoulders after this one, you were dropped too many times as a kid. All right, chapter 1, connection over everything. About 2 weeks back, I was training shoulders with a buddy and we started to do side laterals and he stopped me and said, "I know you're supposed to do a full range of motion, but for some reason I feel better if I flare my lats and just do a partial range. Like, what should I do?" And I had to chew down my anger, and there was a lot of it. With shoulders, you can't just throw weight around like you can with deadlifts or squats and expect good things to happen because there's so many muscles that you don't want to have jump in that absolutely will and ruin everything. That's why your number one priority has to be the connection over the range of motion, the path you take, the weight you use, even your form. If you start to do a movement and you realize your form's really off, but you have a great connection, embrace that fucked up form. Because what my friend was doing by flaring his lat during a side lateral was actually brilliant, but he was concerned because some oily, hairless guy on TikTok told him you have to do a full range of motion, but what he doesn't understand is that shortened range of motion is actually just isolating down to make sure that that side lateral, that lateral head, is the only thing that's working. And he would have known that if he didn't listen to that shiny bastard and he just listened to his body. Chapter 2, you should never finish an exercise the way you start it. If you do, you're not getting the most out of it. Now, my form changes because of one of two reasons. Either first, I'm doing the exercise and I just don't have that connection. So I'll do about 2 sets, try to find it, but if it's not there, I'll change the form completely, change the path, change the angle, whatever I can to really connect. Do 2 more sets. If I still don't have it, I'll just keep doing that until I find that connection and then hammer out those sets. Or it's the exact opposite. Instantly, I have a horrible connection to that muscle, so much so that I got tears of pain and joy in my eye, and I do all the sets, but I don't leave. I'll still change the handle, change the path, and do 1 or 2 more sets to make sure I hurt myself as much as possible. Because when you find something you connect with, lean into it. That's why if you ever see me in the wild, you might think, wow, that guy's been sitting there like an asshole stealing that machine doing 10 sets. And in reality, I probably did, but I don't think of them as 10 sets because I'm doing 3 or 4 different hand placements. So to me, those are all different exercises. That's how I can justify sitting on the machine for a half hour like an asshole. All right, chapter 3, small, seemingly insignificant changes make a world of difference. And we're gonna use dumbbell front raises to illustrate this because there's so many people that either love dumbbell front raises even though they shouldn't, and others that know they shouldn't because every time they do, their traps engage and take over, and we can easily fix this. Because I think one of the biggest problems people run into in training their delts is they don't put enough thought and effort into each individual head as they train them, and they just group them all together and think, I'm training my shoulders. Kind of like the way you think about your balls. Even though they're very distinct and each have individual characteristics, for instance, I guarantee one of yours hangs lower, left. So what I want you to do the next time you go to do a front raise is really narrow your focus down to just that anterior delt and think about, okay, what part of this movement does any secondary muscles have the potential to jump in and take over? For most people, that's going to be trapped. So you're going to try a couple different angles. For some, you're going to land, incline, and do a front raise, so you're just doing the initial part of the contractions. For others, it's a complete opposite. You might lean all the way forward. That way you're just finishing it off because for most people, as they bring it down to their side, that shoulder rolls forward, and that's when their trap engages. And then from there, it's all about trying to get even more to the movement. Is it starting out to the side and then flexing in as you contract up, or keeping a supinated palm? That way you limit that lateral head. Again, it comes back to those minor tweaks to try to get the most intense contraction possible. If you need somebody to hold those little sausage fingers and take you through some pretty painful shoulder workouts, I'll leave the links to the 2 programs below. Again, 30 days, 20 videos, $20. Pretty damn simple. If you haven't watched these 2, I'd watch those next. But most importantly, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get after it, get growing. Talk to you soon.